Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Build Propulsion Lab here at DevNexus. I'm joined now with Jonathan Vila from Sonar. Jonathan, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yes, hello everyone. Well, I'm Jonathan Vila, I'm also Java champion. I've been developer for more than 30 years and I work as a developer advocate for Sonar. Also part of the community of the Java Barcelona user group and also co-founder of DevBCN, a conference in Barcelona.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about clean code and how it affects productivity. So you talk a little bit about clean code now and then, right?
Yes.
So, well, why don't you tell us what clean code is, and maybe briefly,
okay.
and then we'll get into it.
Well, basically, clean code is more than the book. It's code that it is consistent, code that is intentional, that it is trustworthy, and also it's code that has been well tested. So it's more than just simply following a book, and it involves hundreds of rules that are going to check your code.
All right, so I have some ideas of how I think clean code affects productivity. I think clean code makes it a lot easier to write code, so that makes you more productive. But I'm guessing you have a little more insight into just that. So what do you think about how those two things relate?
Well, yeah, the clean code has been used in a way that some developers have been seeing it as a black box that audits their code. So in some cases, it has been like a bad relationship. So I do some code, I commit it, and there's someone saying, hey, you introduced 10 issues. But there's another way, that it is using tools in your IDE that are going to check constantly your code, and that way you are going only to submit code that it is clean. Then only in the CI pipeline, other issues are going to be detected, but most of the issues are going to be detected on the developer side, so avoiding to going up to the repository.
Right, so that'll be a lot earlier in the development lifecycle, right? So as you're cranking away in your IDE, exactly. Right away, instant feedback. Yeah. So Sonar Lints is an option.
Yeah, Sonar Lint is definitely one of the options. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but I have to say that Sonar Lint for me is a very good tool. There are other tools that are also linters that can check your code, but definitely one of the things, Brian, that I love the most of Sonar Lint is the way that the developer can be a better developer every day. It's not only about checking code, it's also about learning from those issues. And SonarLint is giving you a lot of the description of the why of the issue, but also ways to mitigate or solve those issues. So this is a very important part too.
I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things I like to point out with those types of tools that are plugged into your IDE. As you're typing the code, you're learning about, there's security-related tools that do this, exactly. And you learn about all these things. You learn about why your code should be structured the way it is, why your code should be cleaner maybe, as you're typing, and it's kind of subconscious. And it's very early, instant feedback, and you can get back to writing your code. And it's a little bit over time. It's not, you don't have to go read a book. Not that you shouldn't read the book.
Oh, yeah. No.
But you can. Yeah, so outside of this, what else do you think can help? How can clean code help developers write maybe either more effective code or get things done faster, or just anything related to productivity?
Well, definitely having the linter will avoid those issues as we said before, but also the attitude. So the way that developers see those tools as something that help them, then they can use methodologies like clean as you code or learn as you code. So it's a process for those developers to become better developers, not only avoiding issues. It's not always about issues. For instance, Sonar has released recently 11 new rules. I wrote an article about them, 11 new rules covering Java 21 new features. But it's not about issues. Sometimes it's about not knowing that new versions of Java, for instance, are providing new ways of doing things in a more consistent way. And those tools are going to help you because we are not always up to date to the old magic that a version can give.
I don't know if I know anyone that's actually up to date on all the new magic, right? I mean, especially now with the rate of change with Java, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
It makes it a little harder to keep up, like as you were mentioning. But something like this type of tool would definitely help there. But do you know anyone other than maybe the Oracle DevRel team that is up to date?
Well, basically, as reports say, most of the people are still in Java 11, Java 17. So people try to go up to Java 21, but slowly. But yeah, we will get there. People should focus more on knowing which are the benefits of the so-called LTS versions, and also which are the issues and the CVEs that they are going to avoid if they move to earlier versions.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've talked today few different folks about vulnerabilities and security, and updating is one of those ways.
Yes.
That hopefully an easy way to prevent all of that. All right, so we talked a little bit about clean code, how it can affect productivity. If you were, let's say, a developer maybe 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago,
Okay.
What would you do to learn about these practices as you were getting started?
Well, I would say that I would do exactly what I did 2015, 2012. So it's almost 13 years ago, is join a local community. Go to meetups, go to conferences if you can afford them, but if not, go to meetups. I have to say that it is the best thing ever that has happened to me in my professional career. There is a before and after joining a community. People will learn a lot, but more than that, will connect with a lot of people having same issues, or even knowing new technologies, or connecting with a lot of new companies that would make your world bigger. So definitely, I would have loved to know about communities when I started.
I'm glad you brought that up. We're at DevNexus. This is one of my favorite events. I haven't been to DevBCN yet,
well,
right? So
that's
a little further for me to travel. But this is one of my favorite events, and the hallway track is one of my favorite things. Talking
Definitely.
to folks like you, right? So at your local jog or meetup or whatever, you get that on a monthly basis as opposed to once a year.
Yeah.
So that's a great example. All right. So what about sort of later in your career? I guess the same advice, right? It's never too late to join a community?
Never.
All right. So, other than linting, what else should I do to help make sure I have some clean code and make me more productive?
Well, basically, AI is nowadays very friendly. Everyone is using code generated by AI, but there are several reports that say that nowadays we are using, or developers are using, like 10% of the code is generated by AI. But in 2027, it's calculated that more or less 70% of the code will be generated by AI. But this is not coming without risks. It's about 50-ish % of the code generated by AI is partially or completely wrong. So definitely people need to pay attention to the code that it is generated by AI and do not commit blindly. Use tooling and put effort on checking that code, because it's not always right. Basically, it's almost always wrong. So basically that.
I'm really glad you brought this up. This is I like these AI tools, right? But you have to know what code is wrong, right? It's the Stack Overflow problem all over again.
Exactly.
It's just in your IDE, right?
Exactly.
It's so for anyone unaware, the Stack Overflow problem is you copy and paste code that you don't understand, and it kind of works in your application, but it's either going to be buggy or wrong or dirty as all get out.
Exactly.
So it's not something you want to do if you don't understand what's going on.
And moreover, we don't know which is the author of that code that it is generated by AI. So we could even introduce code that it's, I don't know, it's not totally legal to be included in our repository.
Right. Yeah, legalities, licensing. This is the other sort of side of thing that I feel like I need a PhD in the topic, but licensing, vulnerabilities, all these other potential issues. So you really do need to understand where this is coming from. And we're definitely going to be evolving a lot more between now and, what did you say, 27?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jonathan, thanks for having us. What would you like to tell the crowd before you leave?
Well, go to meetups, go to conferences, especially DevNexus. It's an amazing conference. There are two types of conferences, community ones and the rest. And this is a community one, and definitely you should go to those conferences and go to meetups, community.
Awesome. Well, yes, thanks again for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Well, thanks, everyone.